Here's the church.
Here's the steeple.
Open the doors.
Open the doors.
Open the doors.
The doors of the church are being bound. The church's God-given and First Amendment right to freely share biblical truth is under growing attack. Urged on by anti-Christian groups, government regulations increasingly seek to muzzle people of faith, and in particular, pastors.
Church bishops are thought of as men of peace, but tonight we have a story of one bishop who stands convicted of disturbing the peace.
I was convicted of 2 criminal misdemeanors for ringing the bells of the church.
In Montana, a church was forced to engage in a federal lawsuit because they made petitions available supporting an amendment affirming marriage as between one man and one woman. A church in the Bronx has faced a 16-year legal battle with the New York City Board of Education over the rental of a public school building for Sunday worship services. Authorities see it as a violation of the so-called separation of church and state. An Oregon church was dragged through an IRS audit and their nonprofit status challenged because the pastor commented on an upcoming election issue in light of biblical teachings.
San Diego County is demanding a local pastor fork up thousands of dollars to host Bible study at his own home.
So the County of San Diego slaps Pastor David Jones of South Bay Community Church with a citation for praying at his house every Tuesday.
In Michigan, activists disrupted a Sunday morning service protesting the church's biblical views on morality and homosexual behavior. A so-called civil rights investigation was launched against a Methodist association in New Jersey for refusing to use their worship pavilion for a same-sex civil union ceremony. In California, pastors and church members were threatened with violence and loss of employment for supporting a state amendment restoring marriage as the union of one man and one woman.
And we don't ever want them coming back, ever. Do you understand the other Christians? Do you understand that other Mormons? I'm talking to you people. Yeah, you!
Pastors, I think, have a sense that the church as a whole is under attack, that really pastors stand at the epicenter of a battle these days. And it's coming on all different kinds of fronts. These pastors aren't going out looking for battles. The battles frequently come to them.
We are in the midst of a major culture crisis in America today. And it goes beyond just a culture crisis, it's a spiritual crisis.
You can't preach the word of God truthfully without preaching with courage. It takes courage to preach the word.
How can we want to just maintain peace and safety for ourselves? What kind of message are we giving to the next generation who are watching us? And how are we displaying the glory of God if we have to cower in the face of opposition from governmental officials? We will never be able to stand if that is our attitude.
There are so many issues that are so part of the foundation of Christianity, and not to stand for those things is to be unfaithful. If we're only faithful for the things that aren't being tested and not faithful for the things that are being tested, then we are not faithful. We can no longer be silent. If we don't speak up, nobody's going to speak up.
Every great awakening had 2 aspects of it, and that was evangelism, and then they spoke out prophetically to the culture. If we do not speak up at this time, I believe we're at a nadir in our culture. It'll just continue in free fall. We'll lose people, we'll lose the opportunity for the church to come alive. But if we turn it around and step up, I think we'll be involved in making sure that another great awakening actually transpires in the land.
It comes down to pastors needing the right to preach biblical truth from the pulpit and make application of that biblical truth without fear of being punished for so doing. The battle must be fought in the courtrooms, it must be fought politically, but ultimately we're facing a spiritual battle that cannot be won if pastors are not engaged in this.
We have a great deal of freedom to speak the truth today. We just have to have the courage to do it.
Open the doors. Open the doors.
Open the doors.
Open the doors.